So I went for an MOT today. I had a fuel leak, which meant I failed the MOT, which wasn't great. This is the little brass fitting I had in next to the fuel pressure regulator, and clearly that whole thing must have been rocking and eventually snapped. Been on there for a while, but it did snap. So now I'm using my easy outs. I tried to do this by borrowing one at the garage, but their easy out wasn't working, and this is working a treat. And basically what I've done is I've wound it the whole way in. I'm just shocking it off and it appears to be coming out. So let's take it the whole way out and show you. Now we're moving, you can see it's coming the whole way out. There we go. It's the whole thing out. Lucky me. I managed to fix up the car just enough to get out of the MOT station. And like I was saying, what happened is this brass fitting that was connected straight into the fuel pressure regulator basically been rocking and then snapped. So instead I've just got some fuel hose, and this is now a NPT to a barb, and then into the pressure regulator it's NPT to a barb. It's all a bit of a lash up at the moment, just what I had around, but probably stop the problem from happening again. I need to really mount this to the back wall. Right, current situation is with this fuel gauge, it's not working. So it does this little opening ceremony and just flash, 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 flash. So I'm trying to figure out what that is. Pop the bonnet and see over here. I actually bought another unit. It's exactly the same one. But I'm going to try and diagnose what exactly went wrong. So first of all, I'm going to try a new sensor, because it's quite a simple thing. It's just red wire and a black wire and a white wire, and that's it. So let's just undo this from my fuel pressure regulator and place this one in, obviously with some Teflon tape in, and see this one works. Just looking at the instructions, it's important to say that white wire goes to G, black wire goes to M. On here, that's what was done before. White wire here is going to G, black wire is going to the M, you can just see there. So I'll just pop them off and then get an 18mm and then undo the sender unit from the fuel pressure regulator. Right, that's the old one out. A bit of fuel coming out, but there we go. And then just check in here, see if there's any little bits of tape remaining. This is the new one in here, and I'll just put the Teflon tape down that way so it ends with the tape going to the left. So that's the new fuel pressure regulator just snugged in there, and like before I'm going to put the white wire to the G, the black to the M. It's all connected and all snugged up. Now let's go and see what we've got. So yes, and that was it. It was just a broken sender. So nice and easy fix, and now we've got a proper reading. So I'm just eyeing up where to put the original Tomai bracket, which I've got here. I think I'm just going to put it in here. So I've already got two OEM M6x1.0 holes, so for that other bracket, and then I can just place this fuel pressure regulator down in here. I'm going to need to alter positionings of some things probably. Maybe not. I was thinking about pushing this one over this side, but by the time I undo this I might not even need to do that, so we'll just put it all in position and see what works. But obviously I can't just leave that zip tied to my little breather tube there, so it needs to have some proper home, so that would be a good place. Just a real quick test of the fuel pressure sender. Got my multimeter set onto continuity, so obviously it gets continuity, makes a beep. When you test a new one, I can just get one in here, it makes a beep, and when you test the old one, you've got absolutely nothing either way. So that is one quick test. Clearly this thing is completely blown, which I kind of knew, but there we have it, just a conclusive test. Now I've placed this bracket here, it's got the two bolts that hold onto the fuel pressure regulator. I'm just going to undo a few things and have this now mounted down to there. I'll show you what it looks like, but I can pretty much use everything I'm using here, just need to extend some lines. Pressure regulator there. The other thing it failed on was the sticky rear brake caliper, the handbrake. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to jack it up, see if there's no effort, which I think there won't be, and see what I can do to fix it. So the handbrake on, this wheel is free to move, the one with the issue, and this one's obviously locked. So what I need to do now is see if I can unstick this caliper and make it work. So put the axle stands in, and then I'm going to take the wheel off and have a look. So Andy's going to bring the handbrake cable up and down. Go on. Right. So it looks like it's the mechanism's moving a bit, but the actual handbrake is not coming on, so the actual caliper's stuck itself. So we need to undo these 12 mils at the back and see what's going on. What I decided to do was just buy a new brake caliper. This is actually from eBay and was 40 quid, which is pretty reasonable. It's a reconditioned part, and that's the part number for the left or passenger side in the UK. This is it. L, which is the one you want. You can see the bleed nipples at the top, and the actual brake line connection is at the bottom. Nice and new. So all I've done is obviously crack the wheel nuts, jack the car up, support it on axle stands, take the wheel nuts off, take the wheel off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the car, drop the handbrake cable down, well, at least drop the lever down, and then I'm going to tighten the handbrake cable as well. So first of all, handbrake down, and then you need to get to the adjusting mechanism. So usually this thing's all screwed down underneath these little trapdoors. Mine isn't. So you just basically pull it past these two holders there, that one and that metal one there, and then this is loose and you pull the whole thing out, and then you have better access to the mechanism. There's the plastic bit of trim out the way, and you can see here's the mechanism, got a 12 mil deep on it, and set to and that's all the tension taken out of it. It's nice and loose now, and we're ready to work on the next stage. So one of the first things I'm going to do is come in here and take off this spring. If you get a big screwdriver, you can just do that and take that out. Takes any remaining tension. There shouldn't be any tension on it anyway, but there you go, that's off. And then what you need to do is take this little split pin out the bottom, and then take this I guess you'd call that some kind of dowel in there out. So just get some pliers. So there's the split pin out, like that. And then this little dowel thing, and then these things can get stuck in here, but mine isn't, but sometimes you've got to really work these little pins out. That should have a hole in it as well. Sometimes they get rusted closed. It's obviously on this little holder. The caliper comes without any of the holder. I'm just going to save time by just taking off these two 12 mils and leaving all this as it where it is. So I'm just going to undo both of those, 1 and 2 12 mils and the whole little bracket. There's one 12 mil out. The other one's kind of just in there. You see it's actually out. So that's the handbrake cable out the way. I'll just leave it over there with the bolt still in it. And then now I'm going to just undo these two 12mm. There's one there and there's one here. And that means that the caliper itself will be loose, other than the fact it's still on the hydraulic flexi line. So now, other than this flexi line, there's nothing holding this caliper in. I can just go in here with the large screwdriver and pull back the caliper a bit. And here, be quite gentle. So it's most of the way up now. There we go. There we go. There's the brake pad coming at the same time. So now I'm going to take these pads, put them in my new caliper, and then disconnect the actual hydraulic line at the last moment. So the pads, and this pad can stay here pretty much. I'm just going to take it out to have a look. It's been in there a while. It's still got a lot of meat left on it, so that's fine. I'm just going to make sure that these areas are clean, where the actual pad slides on. So I'll probably just wire brush that quick and check that the sliders are any good. So these sliders seem are not sliding very freely, so what I'll do, I'll take them out, clean them, and then this comes with a little pouch of the slider grease. So it's very easy to take these out. You've just got to be careful not to ruin the seals, but you can just kind of pick the seal back over the first lip like that. There you go. Take it out. You see all that grease is going to come off, so I'll clean that up and I'll put them in. I'm going to wire brush this pad surface here. So I've just got a little copper brush, nothing much to this really. Just going to get the surfaces that the actual pad moves on, and then up here as well. Same deal, just to get rid of any corrosion, anything making them stick. So they're a lot cleaner than they were. And then you can just get a little bit of copper slip and just place it on the corners of the pad. So I'll probably just wire brush these little surfaces first as well, and just put a little dab, not much at all, and there, and that's what the actual pads run on. So the pad's in there and tight to this. You can just make sure they're the whole way home. You can just tap them in and then just make sure they're nice and flush to it. I know this is a little bit corroded here, but it's not the bit that operates on the actual piston, so not really that bothered about it. And then this one down here, this slider, this is obviously made good friends with the seal. So I can just pull that one out. It's got a bit more on it. It's kind of rusty grease or whatever's left. And that will probably do it. And then just place it back in, like so. Then just push it down and the seal will go on it, and now it's nice and easy to move compared to this one that's actually quite hard. So do the same to that, clean it off and just grease it. And sometimes these have some air trapped in the seals, and all you do there is just put it back and then just pinch at the sides and the air will come out, and that'll be that. So that's nice and free to move now. So is that one. We're looking good. The final thing is just place these sliders in this position, so the flat is kind of 12 and 6 o'clock both sides, and that's just because this is what the slider bolts tighten up on, so it'll have to be like that. So last thing before I forget is place this little thing in here. Just pushes the pads, so you kind of put it in like that, get it to the end, push it down, and then just push it a little bit. That's it, and that's in like that. Okay, then this can go on there, and it's important to know that this little slot here lines up with this little dimple there, and that's important. So you can just get it actual caliper in there like that, and make sure that these sliders are in the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock position, and then we can just place in our two 12mm bolts that I've already copper slipped. get this little pin. I'll probably put a little bit of copper slip on it anyway, and then just put the retaining split pin in afterwards. All we've got to do now is disconnect this. It's a 14mm onto the hydraulic line connection here, and then bleed the brakes. So you can see here there's actually 2 washers. I've grabbed my copper washers for the job. What I'm going to do is just undo this 14. It's going to be a little bit of loss of brake fluid. I'll probably grab something down here to pick that up, and then I'll take that bolt out, place 2 copper washers in, and then take this little stopper off and put it in there. So I've transitioned onto the plasticky gloves, and I've got this copper washer off, and obviously the line's just there, I'm trying to be quick. Then this is the other copper washer. This one was quite on there, so I just put it like that and just use a flat blade to catch the edge and push that down. So then I'm going to go to my copper washer assortment and then just grab 2 as close as possible to that. So there we have it. There's the 2 fresh copper washers in there. This bleed nipple's loose, ready to get bled. And now I can just use my bleeding tool here. I'll take the nipple off. If I can do that, there we go. And I can just place the bleed nipple tool on here, the bleeder, and then just go to the reservoir and just do the normal braking bleed procedure. So I've got my 10mm flange spanner, which is like this. On there, bleed nipple's open. Got my one-way valve leading into my little tank there, and then just pop the bonnet. And you notice, the good news is I was quick enough so that I didn't lose all my fluid. So now I'll just fill that to the max and then do some pumps. Right, here we go, do some pumps. You can hear fluid coming out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's have a look what we're playing with. You see it's got rid of all the air bubbles, so now I should just be able to tighten that off like that. Remove this. Okay, put the bleed nipple cover on there. And then just check for the level. Almost forgot we didn't do the handbrake cable. So, get the 12mm on here, slide that in here, set it to forwards. And then keep on checking, so that's quite high still. Do a bit more and wait till you're happy.